personal responsibility, personal responsibility, personal responsibility, personal responsibility.
What is up, YouTube? It's RSmario here, bringing you another another Cyberpunk video. You heard to say Fire Emblem because I just did a couple of those today. So now this one is going to be on Cyberpunk 2077. So I picked up 10 things I picked up from the gameplay trailer. So basically, I was going to do an analysis of the whole thing, but I'm like, that video will be way too long, and so from experience, you guys don't necessarily like the longer videos. So I decided to pick out 10 things that I thought was interesting in the trailer, in the gameplay, and just kind of like analyze those. Starting off with the character creation screen. So this is interesting. I actually saw this. If you follow the Mad Queen show, she actually made like a version of this, like, you know, after E3, you know, and it was pretty cool. And it looks pretty much exactly like what she made. And it's pretty much, it reminds me a lot of Mass Effect. How you could kind of like, I think it was the PS3 version or the Wii U version? One of those versions where you could like kind of set up your backstory. And this is pretty much what that is. And it'll be interesting to see if this plays a role in the story or not. You know, or it's just like playing a role in, like, you know, maybe your character. Like maybe if you put ex-lover in town, you could, like, you know, maybe it would make you, I don't know, maybe it will increase your personality or your charisma or whatever, or you got something to prove or make you tougher, or unfinished business, or I don't know, maybe something like that. But I think hopefully these impact the story. It's interesting that, you know, this person picked Corporate God, you know, and there's some pretty interesting things like her, you know, like her trying to make a name for herself. Maybe she's trying to become a corp or become a big servant of the corpse. Maybe that's, you know, her big mission in the game, which is pretty interesting. The key event in her life was the death of a sibling, which is also kind of interesting, seeing as though Arasaka had a similar issue in his life, and why they're in Night City for unfinished business. So, all interesting choices. I think these will definitely play a role in the story. That would be cool because that will definitely have different story paths and endings for you. So that would be pretty cool. Of course, I don't know if this is because of the demo, or maybe you just don't have an actual name and you just go by V, so maybe you just don't even really need to name your character, or maybe you can make the alias whatever you want. Let's see, but yeah, this is pretty interesting stuff. Of course, we have other things like birth record, which I'm guessing that's just, you know, you be able to pick male or female, and biometric scan, which I assume this will be more along the line pre-game add-ons, like pre-game augmentations maybe. And then of course we see biostats is basically your stats, you know. So this is RPG, so you have to, you know, you have stat distribution. Now it's interesting that they said that there was no class, there was a fluid class system, even though it was pretty much confirmed right after E3 that you could play as a solo, a techie, or a net runner. So, I mean, does that mean that you're playing mainly a solo, but you can play like a techie or like a net runner, but you can't actually play those classes? It's interesting to see where they're going to go with that. So next one is definitely Cyberpschosis. So we all knew that Cyberpschosis was going to play a role in the game. Like, the first teaser was basically, you know, hinting at Cyberpschosis, like with the Psycho Squad dude, you know, ready to shoot the lady. He brought her in and, you know, calmed her down and all that other kind of stuff. Like that, that first teaser was kind of giving you a hint of, you know, Cyberpschosis and the Psycho Squad. And so now we get to see a little bit of how that works. So you see this thing here that says humanity cost. basically that number goes like your character has a specific number of humanity cost depending on how augmented they are, and that number goes down with the more augmentations you add to your body. So the more you augment yourself, the less humanity you have. The more the more powerful the part, the more powerful the more humanity it costs you. So of course, if it starts getting low, you lose some options. Like you lose some dialogue options because people, they don't trust you. They see that you're changing. You become a bit more antisocial, so you're not as charismatic. You won't be able to woo the ladies, or you won't be able to entice men. Because you're an antisocial. You're becoming cold, a machine, until eventually you're going to go into cyberpschosis, and the Psycho Squad is going to have to come and get you. They'll have to take you down. You're gonna have to go to therapy, and they're gonna deactivate a lot of your augmentations. So this one was an interesting one. So basically, hacking is in the game. So you see in the previous screenshot that the guy, this huge black guy here, has pretty much hooked a cable directly to you and was able to hack you like Ghost in the Shell style. So in Cyberpunk universe, I guess he would be a crystal jock, because that's what they kind of like call like old school hackers. They're not net runners. They don't travel through the net and do all that kind of stuff like Matrix style. They're more old school hackers. So it's pretty interesting to see this in process, and in progress. In the fact that you can get hacked is pretty interesting. So then we got the stat screen. So this is where your like inventory screen. So you see like typical RPG style. You can put different clothing and armor on different parts of your body. So you can put on headgear. You can put stuff on your face. Body 2, I'm not 100% sure what body 2 is. I don't know if maybe there is something you can put on your back, or maybe it's just something to go with like the big collar. Maybe something you put around your neck. I don't know, but then they have chest, and then they have jackets. So I guess you can have like maybe add-ons to your jacket or different jackets. I don't know. And then they have like, of course, pants. So it's pretty interesting here. You can also see you have a crafting system in the game. So some type of crafting system. Maybe you can upgrade weapons or make various gadgets or something. Social. I'm not quite sure what social is. Maybe it's like in Grand Theft Auto 4 where you can kind of like call up a character and like go out and chill or whatever. But interesting that they would have social there. BID monitor, I have yet to figure out what that is. I'm assuming that this involves monitoring your augmentations. So like seeing if they're working properly. Maybe if you need to remove or deactivate something like that. There's a quest log, because every RPG worth its salt has a quest log, and codex, I'm assuming is like your I guess what is codex? I guess it's like a record of various conversations and whatnot that you can go back and look at. Like say if someone told you something important about a mission and you forgot, like I tend to do. You can go back and look at the codex. Then of course you have style, equip, and then backpack. So style is an interesting one because I mean what, like I don't know. I have no idea what style could do in the game. I know that technically the style of clothes you wear determines your street cred and how people respect you and stuff like that, but I don't know. Then of course backpack is I guess going into your inventory and being able to like move and like add stuff and equip stuff like that. This one's interesting. So you see Dirt Girl. At first I thought this might be like a hooker, like a prostitute, but then if you look further in the game, there are more screenshots of other people who have names like, there's like Dirt Girl, there's like Urban Freak, there's like, Corporate Rat, basically they're like classes for NPCs. If you need an example, think of something like Pokemon. How you have like Youngster Joey and Last Ophelia, or you know what I'm saying, Cool Trainer Zach, Ace Trainer Bobby or whatever. They're like classes of Pokemon Trainer, basically classes of NPC in Pokemon. Well, in Cyberpunk you have classes of NPC. Now I don't know if they're gonna change this to where everybody has a name. I mean, because that would be kind of interesting. That it's not just Dirt Girl number 25 and Dirt Girl 72 or whatever. It would be interesting if they had names, but I mean, I'm cool with this too, because that way the different class of NPC. There's also NPCs that have actual names, so I'm guessing these are just reserved for quest givers, or maybe like someone you could buy like black market stuff from. He definitely looks like a seedy kind of underworld character, Stefan, that you can maybe like buy some kind of like black market wares. He seems to be trying to sell you something. I got a real whack tape changing your life. Like, so yeah, either he's insane or he's like, this is code for some kind of like really cool black market tech that you're not supposed to have. Seeing as though he's standing right outside of a medical van as well, he's probably like a black market Ripper Doc, or selling black market tech. Another thing you can notice about this picture here of Victor is he has a number by his name. So I'm thinking this number is definitely the levels. So I'm thinking like certain characters have like a level, that they can. Of course, this is an RPG. Everybody has levels. But of course, I guess if it's above 1, they'll have a number by their name. Like there's another character, like if you see the guy who's scoping out Jackie's car, he has a 2 by his name, so he's level 2. So Victor's level 9, which is higher than you and Jackie. So Jackie's like level 8. So, Victor will probably waste you in a fight. Secondary fire. So this is something new that we saw in the trailer. If you look at like right by where actually you have to get the grip. There's the weapon grip augmentation. Once you get that, you have the ability to see how much ammo you have, and you get the ability to see the which second fire mode you're on, and you can see that right down there under the amount of ammo you have. This one is a new one where you can fire around corners. I'm thinking this is exclusive to this gun, seeing as though later we're going to see that this is a rare weapon. So I'm thinking that this is exclusive to the gun, and you're not going to get it anywhere else. And so this one's cool though. Shards are pretty cool. So shards are kind of like a way of relaying information. They're basically like SD cards, essentially, in the real world. But in the Cyberpunk world, of course, you don't stick them in your phone. You stick them in your face or the back of your head. And you basically check out the data that's on the card. And basically it gives you story details, map details, stuff that would, normally be like an info dump or like some different screen in the game. So they actually found a way to make it into some interesting little thing in the game. But, for all intents and purposes, it's an info dump. And it's actually pretty cool. I think this is a pretty cool way to do it. In my last Cyberpunk video, I kind of mentioned the fact that the possibility of brain dances. This could definitely put us closer to that. Alright, so this one's cool too. So, you actually get to see that there's different types of damages in the game. So, being an RPG, you kind of have that elemental damage element that most RPGs tend to have. This one has that, in a slightly different way. So, of course, you got 4 different, I guess, types or elements of attack. You've got your regular old run-of-the-mill, bullets, which always tends to work. You have fire, which I'm thinking these are heat-based weapons, like flamethrowers, possibly lasers. Then you have beside it, like a skull and crossbones. So I'm thinking it's like poison or chemicals, maybe corrosive, some kind of acid, or like white phosphorus or something. And then next to that, you also have like a lightning ball, like electricity. So I'm thinking like maybe taser or maybe even an EMP, like an electromagnetic pulse, which is something that will be amazingly useful in Cyberpunk and also amazingly detrimental because, of course, your body depends on these electronic parts. If someone hits you an EMP, it's almost like getting hacked by Sombra. If you play, Overwatch, if you get hacked by Sombra, or if you get caught in her EMP, then all of your abilities and your passives are pretty much locked. You're pretty much just relying on your primary fire. If you get caught out like that. So something like an EMP in this game could pretty much act the exact same way, seeing as though all of your abilities are based on being augmented. And this one right here, so this is what got me hyped, talking about the weapons in the game. So this pretty much confirms that some type of sword is in the game. Alright, I mean, because we know that you have your what do they call those, mantis blades, which, I mean, they're cool, but I mean, there's nothing like carrying an actual, like, vibro blade, like, samurai sword. I mean, after Metal Gear Solid 4, seeing Raiden, I want to be a badass cyborg with a samurai sword. Like, come on, who doesn't want to go all Genji on a crowd of cyber freaks in some kind of like cyberpunk? Come on now, this will be freaking amazing. We also get to see weapon rarity. So weapons they have rarity levels in this game. So your pistol, the Vindicator from Federated Arms, is a rare weapon, probably because of its secondary fire, being able to fire around walls or corners. Of course, there's like 5 levels to it. So I'm guessing like common, uncommon, rare, like maybe super rare, and then like legendary. So then this one right here. So this one is kind of not a big detail, but it kind of is. So looking at the buttons, it says right shoulder. It took me a while to see what RS was. I was like, what is RS? Like, maybe no, it's just the name of the channel, but what does RS stand for on a button map? I'm thinking like, well, it's not on PS3 or PS4. I mean, because it would say L1 or L2. It's got to be on Xbox One, which, I mean, it was playing at the Xbox conference, so I guess it's only be right if they were running it on an Xbox One or Xbox One X. Or they could just be running it on a souped up PC that has an Xbox controller. Either way, this is definitely running on some type of Xbox tech. But yeah, that's about it for this. I hope you kind of dug it. I don't really do analysis this way. I kind of like breaking down everything from beginning to end. But I hope you like this kind of method for this long of a clip. That's about it. Hope you enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter because I'm going to be doing some pretty interesting stuff on there. And keep it real.